Well, it's Thursday, the 29th of December, and we're almost getting there into New Year's Eve, and then, of course, 2023. I trust that you've all had a wonderful Christmas, wherever you are spending it, and you are safe and well. And we welcome Alistair Cohen, and just chatting to him, prior to the show beginning, he tells me he's back in South Africa for a few days, so not speaking from the usual international place when we usually speak to him, which is Dubai. Nice to have you back in the country for a few days, Ali.
Yeah, Dees, hello to all the viewers. I trust everyone had a wonderful festive season and compliments of the season to all. I hope 2022 finishes strongly. Just a week's break in Dubai. We're racing again on Sunday at Jebel Ali, so I'll be making my way back on Friday afternoon. And at least when I get back, the carnival's underway, so the racing goes up not just a notch, it goes up about 10 notches. So it's nice just to split up the season. And I'll be back in early-ish April. That'll be the start of my 6 months back here this time around.
Well, some weird weather around the globe, Alistair. Just watching some footage of how New York is under snow, and of course, here in Durban, losing all those race meetings because of the rain that we've had. I don't know how it's been up in Gauteng, but Dubai, very unusual. They've also had a lot of rain there.
And when it rains in the Middle East, it's absolute chaos because nothing is designed for the rain. There's no drainage system. The roads flood off about 5 mils of rain. I love rain, so a little bit of me was sad that I missed out on 2 days of a little bit of precipitation. But then, by the same token, I would have had to drive in those conditions, and that could be really wild. And then to add to your story, I follow all sports, as you know, and I was watching American football the other night, yes. And the match between the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans got delayed by 2 hours because of power cuts. So it's not that green around the world.
So let's get straight into it. Race number 1, we'll start off the bipod with 8 races carded. It's a work riders maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,600 meters. At the time of recording, no scratchings. I'll just give you the betting, of course, proudly brought to you by Hollywoodbets. The horses that are in single figures. Number 2 on the quest list is 9-2, 8-1, number 3, Sassy. And there has been support. Okay, number 8, Bushveld is 5-2. One of the anti-post movers, Ali, is LMB, number 9, Sean Terry's runner. From 12-10, that's shortened into even money, and it's 10-1, number 10, London Palladium. Now, Terry is teaming up very successfully these days with Calvin Habib. You have to take notice of that, but this, Vicky, she seems to be picking her spots. She picked a spot. She was on the money with her first ride, and she's got a serious chance of winning this as well.
She absolutely does, Dee. This is evidently a nice warm-up for her into that Okapi Invitational at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Lomarock King's Plate. I see she's already engaged on Johan Janssen van Vurentor's Victorious Spirit, I think it is. So, Vicky's first ride for Fani Broncos was just a beautiful hands and heels, well-balanced performance. Now she goes up to 1,600 meters on a horse who ran a good second to Bright Blue Sky. I query the strength of the form, but LMB can only improve. The kicker for me in this race, funny enough, Dees, is that you know which work riders are associated with which yards. When you actually look down the page, I think De Kock and Chamu Mabaya, that's one association that you can probably, the other one is probably Lucky Hudalaka and Bugani. When you ordinarily look, Fabian Habib was using so much Swela, who rode Bushveld last time, and I actually make Bushveld the horse to beat. And Sean Terry uses Joe Giza as his main guy. I assume maybe a little bit of a deal's been to give Vicky the practice in the middle before the King's Plate there. But that's the first avenue I look for in work rider races, and I'm not getting much association. I think to Fana, number 8 Bushveld was unlucky not to win last time. I thought maybe she was pressed a little early, with a little bit more restraint from power and the extra run under the belt over this distance. I think she might just be a little bit harder than number 9 LMB, but I make her 2-horse race. I think that both of them will at least run in the first 3 and perhaps start off with some swingers in the first race.
Well, I see Terry's also sticking with the female touch because Rachel Vinegar partnered this filly first time out, and now Vicky. What about this horse Bushveld, Fabian Habib's runner? I'm not going to say unfancied second time round, but was quite friendly in the betting market. There was a claim And that last start certainly caught my eye in a big, big way.
You're talking about Bushveld, these?
Yes.
Yes, Bushveld's my first selection. Like I said, she just got pressed a little bit too early last time out, I thought, and got collared by Rosie Lemon, who, to be fair, was a winner in waiting. And I just think that run's going to just bring her along. The fact that she's already been the trip might just suit her a little bit more. And I think if she's just with a little bit more restraint, I think number 8, Bushveld, might get the better of number 9, LMB, but I expect both of them to be right there.
8 and 9 in the first leg of the bipod, hoping for a fancied result there. And when looking at the balance of the runners, well, it does look like a race where these two horses could fight it out. And a lot of respect, as you heard from Alistair, for the De Kock runner number 2 on the quest list. I think that would be a natural inclusion for trifectas and quartets. Race number 2 starts of the place accumulator. This is the second race over 1,200 meters. I'm just having a look at something here, Ali, at the front of the card. Now, apologies. This starts off the bipod race number 2 with 9 races carded, and this is over 1,200 meters. And just taking down the betting, horses in single figures, that is. Number 1, 5 to 1. Number 2, 4 to 1. Number 5 at 4 to 1. This first timer is at 9 to 2. That's Lucy Lucy from the Hoedelakers camp, horse number 6. 9 is at 6 to 1. And then 10, possibly the right horse in the race when I had a look at the form. Daughter of Admiral Kitten, she raced with the tongue tie on. That's been declared at 9 to 2 with Komalo up. What you make of the second race, the start of the bipod? I'll give you my numbers in order of preference, the top 4. I've gone 10, 2, 5, and 1.
The only thing I'm going to recommend in race number 2, the opening leg of the bipod, is watch the betting on number 6, Lucy Lucy. The mother, Ha Lucy, was very quick. She was trained by Lucky Hoedelakers. And I think the progeny of all won first up of Ha Lucy. So just bear that in mind. I think that she's gone to twice over. So perhaps extend the range for number 6, Lucy Lucy. But she's got a good draw. And Lucky knows what he's doing. So although I think it's a fairly useful maiden, and he'll have a good line here with Kinky Boots as well, because he also trains Kinky Boots, and the second horse out of the Kinky Boots race, Splendid Season, come out and won. Just keep safe at number 6, Lucy. I can't tip her on top, but if there is money for her, respect it, because there could well be something going on. If she's not the same precociousness as her mother, then she could very easily win first up. My first selection here is number 2, Simply Magic. Brett Crawford and Cabello Matsanyani team up. I think if you have a look at the quality horses that she's run against, I don't think she comes up against an Antigua Natu or Mrs. Browning here. Penultimate start, she had a horrible draw over 1,200 meters in the Vaal Classic track. She ran okay behind Fly Isabella Fly. She was about a quarter of a length behind number 1, Camerata. I think with a better draw, she'll remain in front, because they have met subsequently, and Simply Magic finished in front of Camerata. I think the two of those have valid chances, but number 2, Simply Magic, would be my first choice. I like number 5, Damned If I Do, until the last race ran at the Vaal on Tuesday, because Above the World ran no sort of race. So I'm a little bit dubious about the strength of that run, but she can only improve. Number 5, Damned If I Do. And I know Samango Kamala is riding number 10, Welcome Breeze, but I think the first timer tells me a lot more than number 10, Welcome Breeze. That improvement from run 1 to run 2 has to be noted. But for some reason, I've got a feeling number 6, Lucy Lucy, could be the right one from Lucky's yard. I have nothing to go on other than the fact that it's just a hunch.
Okay, let's see what happens with that first timer there. If there's money, follow. I just thought Welcome Breeze over that 14.50 last time out, found no extra. Maybe the drop in distance, 1,200 meters, could see her, use that pace and speed. And I don't know if there was a breathing issue. There's nothing obvious reported, but the fact is she does have a tongue tie, and I see reported with a mouth injury. I don't know how much that affected her last time out, number 10, Welcome Breeze. But keep an eye on that first timer, number 6, Lucy Lucy. We're on to race number 3, which starts off the place accumulator, and Alistair will be giving a place accumulator at the end of the show. 1,200 meters, it's a maiden plate, and you need to get your bets on by 13.10. Horses in single figures, proudly brought to you by Hollywoodbets. Number 1, Desert Fox, 7 to 1. Number 2, Full Go, is at 9 to 2. It's 4 to 1. Number 3, that's Phantom of the Forest. Number 6, King of Venus, is at 4 to 1. 8 to 1, number 7. And then the only other horse in single figures is number 12, Silk Garden. Well, I wish I could have helped the guys here because, Joe Sommer's stable is in such good form, but, he often leaves his comments to the guys on race day, and obviously through my association with Darlin, I do get it on race days, but this show is being recorded a day earlier. But the stable's in cracking good form, and here's son of Gimme the Green Light. I'm actually still surprised that he is a maiden, because from day one he showed them, but he's just taken so much of time.
These are really like the source number 3, Phantom of the Forest. I've banked him in the place accumulator. I watch how yards nominate and how they accept and what they do. Joe Somers had this horse, Phantom of the Forest, on every conceivable maiden for the last month or so. He obviously thinks that the horse was just about ready to win. The drop and trip, I think, will suit. Gavin Lorena now takes over. The awkward draws a slight query, but thankfully it's the first leg of the place accumulator, not the first leg of the pick 6. I think that he'll run into the first 3, and I think he can definitely win. Winter Greeting came out and franked her own form, and I think she's down in Cape Town, if I'm not mistaken. I saw her nominated at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and she's not running on Saturday. So, I think everything points to her. Number 2, Full Go, stayed on really, really well last time, but he's got a very awkward draw to overcome. I'm sure he'll be ridden for luck again. He'll need the gaps to open up. So that's got to be a danger. 6, King of Venus, I think, came up against a pretty weak maiden last time out, ran a good race. He might be able to sustain that form. And I honestly believe the race stops there. I don't really like those 2 fillies at the bottom of the weights. I think that they've become professional maidens and been running against bad horses to have better records and earn a few stakes. So I think number 3, Phantom of the Forest, is the one that they all need to beat. I'm happy to bank him in the place accumulator.
Just your thoughts on one runner, because I like this horse. You mentioned the draw, but Don't Shoot the Barman, Clinton Binder's runner. And when I have a look at the way Clinton brings out his horses as well, you get used to, certain stables, and of course most stables. I mean, if you watch racing every day, on the way they program their horses and the way they bring them on. I think this individual, having a look at the way he's placed him, and his first start wasn't the worst. His second starts, I mean, you could say he finished towards the back of the field, but he was 8 out of 16 runners, finishing midfield, and it wasn't the worst of runs, but. Calvin's riding so confidently, and these days, he's not just taking rides, he's taking, horses that have chances in fields.
And he was a tad unlucky last time. That was on World Sports Betting Grand Heritage Day, when he probably should have run a little bit closer. The benefit of the good draw is obviously a huge help, but he's held by number 12, Silk Garden. Although Don't Shoot the Barman's got improvement to come, there's no doubt about that. I suppose he's got a place chance. The horse who ran second of that Vaal Vegas run has come out and won. That's Wind Water. Vaal Vegas, though, went off at 100-1 and won on that occasion. So I'm still not convinced that that's going to work out as a powerful form. I'm sure there will be a few winners out of it. Place chance for number 9, Don't Shoot the Barman.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Alistair going with number 3, Phantom of the Forest, as possibly the right horse in the race. There could be value at number 9, Don't Shoot the Barman, and he is 100% correct. Winter Greetings, Sean Terry's runner, does run at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday the 31st. Okay, we move along to race number 4, and this is a pick 6. This pick 6 the other day at the Vaal, which I'm saying the other day, it was just Tuesday. I expected a bigger dividend in that 94,000 that was declared, but I think after, the scratching and all those runners coming through, it paid reasonably well. And I'll tell you why, Ali, because we followed a horse called American Star. I remember doing the show with you, and I saw this horse in the red, and I included the horse in the red of Hood stable, but we had to include that horse after disappointment when we tipped the horse strong on the show. And after, I think it was Stephen Muffat's runner winning at 20-1 with Gavin, Let's Do It or something, I expected a bigger dividend at 94,000 on Tuesday.
Geez, it sounds like you've got a full wallet there. That's great news.
Yeah. No, I was running in it with a fair percentage, but I was well covered at the back, and unfortunately, I didn't double up with that scratching as well, because I didn't have the horse that was, a late scratching, which brought all those numbers in.
Yeah, I mean, Let's Do It. I'm actually annoyed I didn't go with Let's Do It in the end, because I know what Stephen Moffat thinks of the horse, and I know the particular ride that he needs, and Gavin executed to perfection. I actually read that race very poorly, so I'm kicking myself for that. So thanks for reopening those scores. But yeah, I think the pool has a lot to do with the fact that there were obviously 2 days with no racing. It is the Christmas season, so people are at home and their feet up. With the Proteas, playing early in the morning. I wouldn't call it playing, but performing, not performing, not the word either. In action early in the morning. Sure. I think a lot of race goers and a lot of sport followers, stumble upon racing and have a go. So maybe that trend will continue for the rest of the year and hopefully into 2023. So I think the pick 6 pool on Thursday will also, we might not get to 1 million again, but I think it'll be substantial enough.
Yeah, hopefully it does, because, I mean, that's it. It's all about the size of the pool, and then it's about structure of the perm. Race number 4 starts off that bet, and you need to get your bets on by 13:45. There is a scratching at the time of recording. You can take out number 1. So 8 runners go to post. The way the fixed odds betting market has priced this up, it could be a 2-horse race. They got number 5, which is Kambula, 18-10. And number 6, so we got Petro Plata at 33-10. Is it a 2-horse race?
I've gone both those horses in the place accumulator, and the pick 6, I certainly won't be happy with those 2 runners. Let's start off with number 5, Kambulu, who is my first choice. He was a law unto himself last time out. If he carries added equipment, bring out some sort of manners in number 5, Kambulu, then he will be the one to beat, and he probably will win. But there's no way that we can trust a horse that just has no racing manners yet. I'm sure Sean would work on that. I'm sure Calvin at Beat Back Home will work on that. I actually remember Candace playing the half-sister, filly called McCallie. I think she was by Dennis, and she had the same type of issues. But, her work was excellent. She under-delivered in terms of performance on the track, what she showed, and the only reason why she did, she just had racing manners, unfortunately. She won twice, I think. So Kambulu's obviously got the same trait, unfortunately. So although I think he's got a lot of improvement to come, I think he's still learning the trade. He's not a horse that anyone can follow with any degree of confidence just because of the way he races. So I've backed him up at number 6, Puerto Plata, but I think I may have been a little bit more confident than I stood up here with number 6, Puerto Plata. I'm convinced that this distance will be more up his alley. He runs like a mile plus, will suit him well. But then number 2, Wonderworld, finished in front of him in the run behind Sylvan Theatre. And I can tell you that Wonderworld's also doing very, very nicely. I know Candace is dying to go 1,800 meters, 2,000 meters. So it might be a case of getting close, but maybe not quite winning this time around. But if you like number 6, Puerto Plata, then number 2, Wonderworld's got to get into the play. And then the big improver in the race is obviously number 9, Keep the Fort, Lucky Hudolakis' runner with Raymond Danielson in the irons. If the Be in My Bonnet form is playing earlier on in the day, then that'll look a lot better for number 9, Keep the Fort.
Yep, I like your thinking there with number 9. That definitely gets my vote for the pick 6. So we're over with race number 4, and hopefully you can try and get through there with the minimum spend. I don't think you need as many as the 8, which is the field there. I think you can certainly narrow it down. And my rule is if it's less than half the field, or if it's more than half the field, then you have to include the field. So your number there is 4. Try and get through with 4 horses. But I think those 3 horses that Alistair mentioned could be good enough. Race 5, over 2,400 meters. It's a Pinnacle Stakes. And usually we go to the best weighted column for a guide, but it's very tight here. I mean, when you look at the best weighted column, you just get no help at all. Razor Hallelujah has helped to pay a few bills in the past while you've been in Dubai. We've been following the horse, and the horse has been doing well for us. But I say Dubai, but towards the end of last season as well, that's when he started to just find his feet and start winning races. The way he's won those 3 on the bounce, I mean, that was very, very encouraging, which saw his merit rating jump up to a 99. Yeah, obviously, it was something that would have been discussed with the owners, and of course whatever goes on behind the scenes. But the draw was certainly no help, was it, in that Betway Summer Cup?
He covered so much ground. He was the only horse exposed in the entire race. And he still ran far above his rating. So his rating 99 does not flatter number 4, Razor Hallelujah, although the conditions were active, it remained at 99. So if you look at the cold last today, he couldn't get a penalty for running 12. And Had he got a proper run through, he might finish a length or two closer. So let's say a moral 10th for number 4, Razor Hallelujah. Couldn't get a penalty, and he's now over probably his best distance, 5 starts over 2,400 meters, 2 wins in 3 places. I can tell you he came out of the Betway Summer Cup without a scratch on him. He's doing well at home. He looks the part. And you can expect a huge run from number 4, Razor Hallelujah. I've banked him in the place accumulator. I think if he doesn't win, he'll run second. Or it will be disappointing if he ran third. But pointers for place accumulator players, I'm pretty sure he'll run into the first 3. The danger here, I think, is number 6, White Fang. We saw the Aussies and JP Van der Merwe team up with Poets Warrior over this distance of the Vaal on Tuesday, and that was a commanding start-to-finish win. Although White Fang is yet to show he's at number 4, Razor Hallelujah's class, he is a stayer that is on the up. And if he gets a soft lead, and there's every chance that he won't with Imperial Ruby and marching on together in the race, but if he is able to get a soft lead, then he could be hard to peg back with 52 kilos on the back. So I think if Razor Hallelujah does get rolled over, number 6, White Fang could be the one to do it.
Yeah, the reason I only mentioned about Razor Hallelujah, going into that stays race, into that Betway Summer Cup, because the way Armagam won, I mean, this horse would have pretty much gone very close to winning that stays race that day.
And they were split between going for the 3-2 on that day and the Summer Cup. There is a long-term plan with number 4, Razor Hallelujah. So to go 3,200 meters at the end of November and then sort of go back to the drawing board, that was the line of thinking, because he was guaranteed a run in the Summer Cup. And you always know with Razor Hallelujah, he's going to give his heart and soul. So that was the line of thinking there, but it was a decision that wasn't made overnight.
I'm convinced. I like just 2 horses here. Pick 6, Jackpot, Place Accumulator, Barpot. I think Alistair has touched on the 2 horses. There's only 2 horses that I've actually singled out here, and they are 4 and 6, race number 5. So we're on the same page there. On to the 6th race as we move along with some merit-rated 72 handicap. It's over 1,800 meters. I'll give you the betting. Number 1, Twin Turbo, is at 9-2. Horses in single figures. Number 3 at 8-1. 4, obviously the scratching, an important one at that. Then we move along to number 5, Tinder Dries at 6-1. It's 4-1, number 7, One Ring Star. 5-1, number 8, King of Rome. 5-1, number 10, Follow My Path. And then it is 10-1 and Better the Balance. A race where, I've jotted down 4 numbers here, Alistair, and one of them being number 8, King of Rome, the other being number 3, 5th of July, and then I was torn between Twin Turbo and this horse, One Ring Star. So I can't make my mind up there, but I'm certainly not going to leave out number 5, Tinder Dry, in the pick 6 as well.
For pick 6, this is a very, very tricky race. You've got my 3 horses in the play, these 1, 3, and 8. My first selection here is number 1, Twin Turbo, and I think his task was made a little bit easier with the 4 kilos off the back. He's been on my radar for a long time as number 1, Twin Turbo. I think he was scratched the other day. I think he was scratched on Grand Heritage Day because he had that 2-day turnaround between the 8th of December and the 10th of December. So I'm sure that Grand Heritage entry was just to save for a rainy day. I think number 1, Twin Turbo, could have everything his own way up front. There's no evidence of much pace, and I think if Sianda Sasibo can keep a lid on things, and he is doing that, he's come alive in the last 3 months. Sianda, he was looking like a forlorn hope, and now he's nearly lost his 4 kilo claim. So all the best to Sianda. He's a very, very hard worker, and I'd like to see nothing more than him go through the divisions and develop into a proper jockey. Like I said, a horse that's been on my radar for a while. He's dropping in class. I think everything just points to number 1, Twin Turbo, and especially the way that the race is going to pan out. If he doesn't keep a lid on things up front, then that could open it up for a horse like number 3, 5th of July, the one-eyed son of Wiley Hall. Calvin Abid takes a ride for David Nevenez. And Dees, I don't know if you remember 18 months ago, the start of the season, I think it was the first day of the season, Calvin Abid fell off, had to have a spinal operation. The horse that he fell off was number 3, 5th of July. So to use the old cliche, he's literally back on the horse. It'll be poetic if Calvin can deliver number 3, 5th of July to victory. You know where he's going to be at the top of the straight, and if the pace is on, and it probably will be, then he'll be doing his best work late. His last 2 runs don't read too well, but he's better than that, and the handicap has helped him a bit. And number 8, King of Rome, he's the easy explanation for including him is that he's the improver in the race, and could be improving quick enough to beat them.
Just give me numbers for the PA at least, Ali.
1, 3, and 8 for me. D's with my first selection, number 1, Twin Turbo.
Looks like a difficult race to negotiate for the pick six and the jackpot, but 1, 3, and 8 for the place accumulator. We're on to the 7th race. This is a graduation plate over 1,200 meters. And the best weighted column could be a guide, because number 4, Give Me a Shot, is a 109. Number 6, Southern Sky, is a 101. And then we go to the 90s. Karangatang at 96, 93 joint numbers 3 and 7. Betting and betting moves. Well, Karangatang's at 5-2 single figure horses. There is money for number 4, Give Me a Shot, from 22 to 10. That's been back to 16 to 10, been backed. And I would say that that would have been before the scratching of a very important scratching, and that's number 6, Southern Sky. So 5 and 6 are out here. 7 is at 8-1, and then it's big figures for the balance. You know, I referred to the best weighted column, but then some will argue and say, you know what, how can you use that figure over 1,200 meters when it comes to number 4, Give Me a Shot? Because it's obvious to see that the rating for this filly has been earned over further of late, especially, you know, that last start, which was a fine victory, beating a talented field. What do you think of her chances over the trip?
Well, I'm highly annoyed because the place accumulator provided, I was all over number 6, Southern Skies. I made her the best bit of the card, but sadly she's not running. And my reasons for liking number 6, Southern Skies, is that I think these 3-year-old fillies, Give Me a Shot and Ipso Facto, and even Blue Waters, maybe to a lesser extent, but Give Me a Shot and Ipso Facto, that runs on Thursday just scream prep runs. 1,200 meters will be too short for both of them, and they're both very good fillies. But coming out fresh for number 7, Ipso Facto, might just help her. But number 4, Give Me a Shot on the back of an Ippy Tombi, this just looks like reset. But with number 6, Southern Skies coming out, I'm probably going to be defaulted to number 4, Give Me a Shot for Mike and Adam Azzi. JP Funamava takes the ride. The draw's obviously a big benefit. Her win in the Ippy Tombi was full of merits. If you go back to the Starling Stakes, she was the unluckiest horse in the race, and she was still beaten half a length by Miss Daisy. She was unlucky in that she raced with no cover. She was exposed the whole way around, the only filly exposed, and she showed her class in the Ippy Tombi subsequently. So she's got something about her, and obviously just to address the whole situation among the Soul family, it would be a lovely moment for the Soul family if number 4, Give Me a Shot, who was obviously Kevin's last feature race win before that sad tragedy a couple of weeks ago, if number 4, Give Me a Shot, just gives some reassurance to the family. So yep, even though it stinks of a prep run, I think her class might just pull her through. And also, if you step back to Supreme Warrior and the Labello Sprint on the weekend on Christmas Eve, that also looked like a prep run, and he nearly won. So the Aussies are doing something right at the moment. They've done something right for many years. So, yep, defaulted to number 4, Give Me a Shot. And in place of bankering number 6, Southern Skies, I'll now bank number 4, Give Me a Shot in the place accumulator. Pick 6, I'd include number 1, Karangatang, although I think 1,200 meters still stretches him. Elite, he's proven to a certain level. And if number 7, Ipso Facto, does win this race, then I'll be following her throughout the Volkerbos Triple Tiara.
Yeah, and there's 3 cages in it. I mean, if you just have a look at the debut of Ipso Facto, there was, let's call it 2.5 lengths between herself and Give Me a Shot. And there's 3 kgs in her favor, and we'll see how she goes here. Fitness is obviously a question mark as well. She's been off for 5 months, but she could come out fresh. And I'm with Alistair here. This horse, Ipso Facto, over this 1,200 meter trip, I'll keep a very close eye on her. So 4 and 7 looks to be the principles here. If you're going to play it wide, well, you're going to have to include a few other runners, because if Give Me a Shot doesn't win, and a horse like Ipso Facto is not there to put on some pressure, maybe Karangatang and Blue Waters. I don't know how to try and narrow it down if you're not in the camp of number 4, Give Me a Shot. On to the penultimate race on the card, which is race number 8. It's a middle stakes over 1,450 meters. Let's give you the betting. Number 1, Paisley Parks at 4-1. 2, Southern Stars at 5-1. It's 5-1, number 3, Gallic Tribe. 8-1, number 4. Ben Suway at number 5 is 4-1. Alabama Anna is at 6-1. It's 4-1, number 7, Fast Love. That's going to be my outright choice. In fact, I'm going to take a massive chance on the day. This is going to be my banker play for the day, Ali. Number 7, Fast Love. And then it is double figures, the balance. There is a form update that I'll give you. Alabama Anna, number 6. finished fourth, 6.5 lengths behind Bon Vivant, and that race was on Christmas Eve on the 24th. My play of the day here, I know it looks like a tough race, the way the fixed odds betting market is pointing you in that direction to say include as many as possible. My play for the day, Ali, I'm going to go big here, number 7, Fast Love.
Well, I don't have Fast Love in my place accumulator, but he would evidently be in my pick 6. I can see why you've gone for him. His penultimate start, that was my last meeting in South Africa before I went to Dubai, and there was the strongest tailwind you've ever seen. Actually, a lovely story. And Nico and I went to, Nico was calling on the day, and we went to Johan Janssen van Vuren to Lawrence Werner's box just before the race. We said to Johan, what are the instructions to Keegan? And he said, well, I don't give Keegan instructions. He's got a bad draw, so I'm sure he'll go to the front. We said, right, if he goes to the front, he won't miss. And in that tailwind, he went to the front and he didn't miss. So perhaps look at that run with a little bit of rose-tinted glasses that maybe he just got away with it. He beat Meridius, obviously Meridius is an asshole. And then he followed up a very, very heavy weight and ran with a bit of credit behind Cabinet Shuffle. So that's my comment for number 7, Fast Love, in the pick 6, but not the place accumulator. I like number 3, Gallop Preview, returning to the same course and distance of his local introduction where he smashed Duke of Sussex. That form line has worked out really, really strongly. His run to Grand Heritage also cast some a good light on that run, although the weight suggests it will be very close between the two. That make Paisley Park a big player, but on that run, Gallic Tribe finished in front of Paisley Park, and he should have some sort of chance of remaining ahead. They're the 2 horses for me in the place accumulator. I'm finding number 2, Sudden Star, very difficult to read. Likewise, number 4, Captain Hansard, because that consolation was a weird race because the first 4 past the post was so badly under suffering. So I have no idea how that is ultimately going to work out. So number 5, Baser, I think is a better horse on the inside track. Although he's been running places on the Vaal Classic course, I think when he gets back to the Turfentine inside track, you'll see a little bit better from him. So 1 and 3 for me, I think they're just a little bit more proven at this type of level.
Okay, 1, 3, and 7 for the Gallop TV team. If you want to narrow down your selections here, it's 1/3 of the field. That will certainly bring the cost of that perm down. We're on to the 9th race over 1,450 meters. It's a low 66 handicap. It's an E division class. And all things being equal, we should end off this meeting at 16:35. And if you're running in this pick 6, come the lucky last, what do? Let's see if the betting is a guide. Number 1, In Cahoots. I was surprised to see this price, 28-10. Number 2, 7-1. Number 4, Gilda Gray at 7-2. 5, Risky Business at 8-1. 6 at 8-1. 7 at 7-1. And any other single figures? Yes, number 11, Rose Willow, is a 6-1 shot carrying the 52 kgs over this 14.50, but poorly drawn out at 12. Thanks to Hollywoodbets for the betting as well. There is a form update which I will give to you, and it concerns number 5, Risky Business. St. John Gray's runner was beaten 4.5 lengths by Little Miss Moneybags. How was that win the other day? Wow, how did that horse come through? Had nowhere to go, but when found daylight, that won well. A Risky Business running 7th behind Little Miss Moneybags. Yeah, this looks like a tough end to the day, Alistair. As many as possible, but usually, and as I felt it on Tuesday, as many as possible, and you get a fancied result.
Yeah, that always seems to happen to us. I like the horse here. I've got a quartet horse here. What price is number 3, Cross Examiner, D's? I like Cross Examiner because he's back to the same distance that he ran in a graduation plate on the 19th of June. He had no right to be there. He ran so far above his rating of 67. I know that his subsequent run was okay and his last run was disappointing, but he's been off for 77 days. I think from a good draw, I think number 3, Cross Examiner, could be the value in the race. Can he win? Anything can win this race. It's that type of open-looking field. But I think he's my quartet horse, no doubt about it. If you've got a prize, they must be bottom of the boards.
25-1. And I'll tell you what, you've been quite close with these big ones, because the other day I actually caught that pick 6 as well, a percentage of when Keegan rode an absolute blinder for Johan. I think he won the last race. And you picked out a horse there. I forget the name, but it had some fortune or advanced or something in it. It ran second, but it ran a cracking second. It was the last race, and I forget. Yes, it was Van Vuren's horse. I'll tell you what it's called. I don't know if it was Rarotonga or something. that won the,
Rarotonga Rose.
yes, I think it won the last race, and you went for a horse there.
Yes.
It was number 2. My
Yes,
memory
Matches or Forged by Fire.
That's it. It ran second at 20-1, and we caught a few swingers and exactors and that type of thing. But you're just beaten by I thought a better ride. That's all I thought. I thought it just was a better ride on the day. But nevertheless, I mean, that was a big outsider that you found. So these last races, you're getting close.
Oh, I just hope that cross-examiner is the one. Can I suggest having a big win bet on him? Absolutely not. But I think just when you're playing your quartets, and if you're looking for a bit of a value horse for swingers, then this could be the horse number 3, cross-examiner. I've backed him. I'm saying I'm backed him up like he's 5-10. Other horses in the place accumulator are 1 In Cahoots and 4 Gilder Grey. Very, very tricky race. Other horses who nearly went into the play. Number 11, Rose Willow. If she was drawn better, I think I probably would have promoted her to a place accumulator inclusion. And number 6, Pendragon's also got to come in, because the last run behind on Tumble Wawazi looks a lot better 24 hours later than it would have this time yesterday. So very, very open race. Go in with as many as you can. Even number 2, Rattlerbag. I mean, I have to actually give credit to Grant Maroon. I didn't think In the Ether was worth a look in that last race, only 10 days apart from a run down at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. If that's ever been done before, I'd like to know about it, because I'm not sure any trainer's brave enough to take a horse down to the coast, run a great race down to the coast, and then come back to the Halfveld 10 days later and win. I mean, that's a training feat. Well done, Grant Maroon. So for now, while Grant's yards in form, I'll be having a second look at all of his runners.
Okay, this is the last race meeting up in Gauteng for the year end. Of course, we'll race at Fairview and Greyville, a night race meeting on the 30th. Then it's Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the 31st, and we start off the new year at Hollywoodbets Greyville. So this is the last race meeting in the Highveld to close off 2022. And I'll really be hoping that Alistair can end it off on an absolute high with number 3, cross-examiner. Wouldn't that be something, Ali?
Oh, that would make New Year's Eve an absolute ripper for anyone that follows me.
Well, let's go to your suggested bet for the day. As I mentioned at the top of the show, you'll be giving a place accumulator, and your numbers are up on screen. You just want to go through it, Ali?
Okay, so the first leg of the place accumulator, race 3 at 1:10. I've banked number 3, Phantom of the Forest. In the second leg, I've gone 5 and 6, Kambulu, Puerto Plata. I'd cast my net a bit wider in the pick 6. Then race 5, banker number 4, Razor Hallelujah. Race 6, I'm very keen on the chances of number 1, Twin Turbo. I think I'll double up at worst in this race with 1, Twin Turbo, 3, 5th of July, and number 8, King of Rome. Race 7, I initially banker number 6, Southern Skies, but now I've defaulted to banker number 4, Give Me a Shot. Then race 8, the 6th leg of the place accumulator, 1 and 3, Paisley Park and Gallic Tribe. And then the final race on the card, place accumulator numbers are 1, 3, and 4. In Cahoots, Cross-Examiner, and Gilder Grey. Hoping Cross-Examiner can run into the first 3, because we'll be knocking out some PA tickets on the process.
I'm just having a look at that, and Alistair, well, let's hope that we can end it off on a high. As I always mentioned, whenever I work on Gallop and whenever I have some time to, speak about the challenge, the channel is obviously work in progress. It's something new, and it is trying to bring, global horse racing to our local viewer, or wherever you are around the globe. It is, the home of KZN and Cape Racing, and it's a gateway to international racing, which includes the Greyhounds as well. I mentioned this because, you are now part of the team, and towards the latter part of 2022, and, whilst we try and do our best to try and bring as much information as possible within a limited period of time, it is work in progress, Alistair, and we'll look forward to 2023.
I think the key to horse racing globally is just to bring an extra window to the world. It's a sport that needs to be promoted and advertised as the sport of kings, but also the opportunity for dreams. And I think that's what horse racing is about. So the more eyes on the product, the better. And, with the team that's around all over the country, credit's got to be given because there's a lot of good things happening. It was refreshing going to the Vaal on Tuesday and seeing some familiar faces, but also just, coming across some good energy. I mean, that meeting wasn't the type of meeting that you would have expected a full house, and certainly wasn't a full house by any stretch of the imagination, but there were happy faces, and there are people around that are optimistic for the future.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Forward we go, positive we go, and hopefully, 2022 is upon ending. There's only a few days left, but we look forward to 2023 and the second half of our horse racing season here in South Africa as well. Absolute pleasure as always, Ali, and enjoy your little break here in South Africa, and I wish you all the best when you get back to Dubai.
Deez, it's an absolute pleasure. Always an honor to be chatting to you and to the entire team and to all punters, all patrons, like I said at the top of the show. Compliments of the season. I trust Christmas was great, and hopefully we finish 2022 with a bang, and may 2023 be everything that you dream it to be.
Yeah, whilst we say goodbye to Alistair, and we wish you all the best, ending off your race meeting at the Vaal Classic Track, which will be the last race meeting in the Highveld for 2022. From the entire team at Gallop TV, Alistair Cohen and myself, Deez Danan, until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.